Welcome, everyone. Please join us. We're having a bit of technical difficulties, so I'm glad you've managed to find the link. You're very, very welcome. Come on in. Claire and I will just talk amongst ourselves. They're trickling in now. I will just be sort of
Very
monitoring.
good.
Yeah, say hello.
Hello, people.
Yes, this is looking more like it. Everyone in the chat, can you tell us, did you have problems finding the link? Was there a link not working on the event? It would be interesting to know what was going on. I think just a bit of kind of behind the scenes, Claire, did we say that we were going to give a prize away?
We did say we are going to give a prize away, which is going to be the anniversary book from The Chase, which I have one here. Hang on, let me just pick it up.
Wow. Okay, thanks. Oh, thanks for letting us know. I think there were a few problems with the link, so hopefully more people can come and join us.
It's a very weighty tome, but it's a really gorgeous
that's stunning.
story of The Chase.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Some lovely stories about the founder and some industry legends telling us some nice things through the way. So yes, there's one of those for good. Yeah, however we award it.
Yes, well, this is the thing.
Best question?
Yes, it's best question. Absolutely. So at the end, we're going to do a little Q&A. People will be able to ask you a question, then you get to choose. It's your responsibility. Before we get started, though, you've had some sad news at the Chase recently.
Yes, we did. Yeah. So our founding partner who started the Chase, there's a lovely photograph here actually, who started the Chase back in the day with Ben and is responsible for so much of the beautiful language as well, that is became synonymous with our thinking and how we use words. But anyway, there's a little picture of Lionel just. We used it on our post.
It's gone too soon.
Oh, I know. Yeah, a very sad one. It was he will be very sadly missed. But yes, thank you for mentioning that.
Oh. Right, so we are going to get started and assume everyone is here. So I am just getting everything set up. I've got my chat. We've got our Q&A. You know what to do, don't you, everyone? You know that you're going to ask a question at the end. So remember to get your questions in. You're very welcome to do so during Claire's chat. So you can get them in, because we'll only be able to go through a certain amount at the end. And then the prize is that beautiful book by The Chase. Great. Okay, so what happened to the posters that stopped us in our tracks? From Vertigo to Trainspotting, movie posters once told whole stories in a single image, but somewhere along the way the magic got lost, replaced by templates, thumbnails and tired tropes. In this studio session we're joined by legendary creative Claire Parker. Hello.
Hello there.
Group creative partner at The Chase, multi-award winning designer and one of the fiercest defenders of the poster as an art form. Would you say that was true?
I think, like, in my quiet times, I think I'm often found ranting about things. I'm very happy when I see something that really does a great job. Normally they're more art house ones, things where the director actually may still have involvement in it, and it hasn't gone through the big marketing machine. But possibly because I would love to have lots of them on my walls if I could afford them.
Oh my goodness, yes, there wouldn't be enough wall space.
No.
Do you have a favourite poster?
You know what? I thought you would ask me this. It kind of depends on the day, but there's a really fabulous one that's from like the old Ealing comedies called The Man in the White Suit. And it's Alec Guinness on the front. It's a red poster, and the white suit is just negative space. And it's all about invisibility. And, so I love that one. I do have a little postcard of that. But then I also, posters like Jaws, the poster for Jaws was just to make, it kind of enters the zeitgeist, doesn't it? It just becomes something that's so, and it just captures that, like the feeling of what lies beneath. And then, of course, there's all the ones that we know that people kind of lean heavily on for influence, for things like this from Saul Bass, who I've collaborated so much with Hitchcock, the Man with the Golden Arm, and Vertigo. Paul Rand also did some amazing film posters. I think I'm probably would lean more into the classic side of things, that they're kind of more pared back graphic storytelling.
Yeah.
I think that definitely is that. I think there's also something about the crispness of, and I think it kind of maybe leans into that whole idea of maximum meaning, minimum means. Where like you want to stop people, but you don't want to tell them everything. You want to leave a little bit of space in their minds for them to kind of complete the story as well.
Yeah.
And I think some of those older posters do that so well. Also, I mean, if you look at some of the things that have been done more recently, like it was a movie Her, mind you, suppose it's not that recent. That is still maybe like
that's 10 years ago. I was looking
years
into
ago.
that.
That's 10 years ago.
I think
That
it might
also,
be, yeah.
Yeah, that also had that kind of arresting feeling about it. It was what I mean by more art, how, the smaller productions. I mean, like designers like or directors like Wes Anderson, he has got such a graphic eye, doesn't he?
Oh,
I mean,
God, yeah.
he employs amazing designers. I'm trying to think of what her name is. I think it's something Jane Atkinson, is it? Who's worked
Annie
on
Atkins.
Annie Atkins.
So she does all the amazing,
yeah,
graphic design within the film. It's just
in the film.
fabulous.
It's fabulous, which I'm sure so much of the time is as much for the actors to feel in a space as for the viewer of the film. And I don't know whether, everybody, I mean, he obviously is, the eye for detail and attention across everything he does probably means that he does have a much bigger say when it gets to then what the film poster finally looks like. But I think, with bigger films, it's all about marketing, isn't it? And it's all about the relative marketability of the stars who are in there, and who gets listed first and how big their face is, and so you lose that opportunity for the storytelling because of that, because it really just becomes about the face selling the film as opposed to the story. And I think that's what,
You've kind of stolen my next question, because I want to know, what do you think really makes this truly, great film poster? What makes something really stand out?
Yeah, I think it's that really kind of really understanding the film and getting to something about it that kind of that entices you. It has to be arresting, doesn't it? It has to stop you in your tracks. Not unlike a really good book cover. Like book cover design also used to be way better, and then you suddenly see things all looking the same because something does well, so then everything looks like that book cover. But it needs to stop you in your tracks and engage you enough to really want to look at it. There's that famous quote by Abraham Gaines, and he talks about that when creating posters, you should wind the spring into somebody's mind so that on viewing the poster, it gets released. That you kind of see it and go, oh, no, I get it. Like he did do movie posters, he did informative posters, for everything from Keep Britain Tidy, and they're gorgeous stuff. People should go and have a look at it because he was so clever. So I think it's that it's having enough, getting the feeling of the film, or the something that it hinges on, also without telling you what it's all about. Because you don't, I mean, in a way, we're going to have a similar discussion about movie trailers, aren't they? Because I like to get into the movie just before it starts, because I hate watching movie trailers.
I know.
Because they tell you the whole film. They tell you everything that's going to happen.
In a town far away lived a girl called Claire.
Yeah,
and it's like, no, I don't want to know.
Don't tell us. We don't want to know all of that stuff yet. Just give me a little bit. That's all that. And I'm sure that other people kind of maybe see this, think the same. So yes, I think it's kind of, as all things, being simple is super hard, isn't it? But simple doesn't mean minimal. It means just taking away everything that doesn't need to be there. So you really just got to the essence of the idea so that people are intrigued enough to want to see it. And also you should want to take it home. It should have that nickable quality, shouldn't it? If you don't want to pinch that movie poster from the foyer, then I don't think it's doing its job. Not that I'm inciting theft.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely not. And I'm thinking back to like the 90s when I was at university, and I actually had posters on my wall, huge posters. I had Trainspotting, obviously,
Yeah,
Ewan McGregor at the time. Wow. And,
yeah,
I think I had Titanic because I was really into Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, I was 17,
yeah,
18, come on.
yeah, yeah.
And I think like maybe some classics. I'm trying to remember. I know I had a Bob Marley poster, but
Yeah.
posters used to have a hell of a lot more
Oh.
weight back in the 90s, back before everything.
First thing I did when I got into my room in college was stick up all your posters, stick them all on
Yes.
the bed in the little bit of space that you had. And
Yeah.
it's you kind of going, these are the things that I identify with. These are the things that I, have. And sometimes it might be that you might not even have seen it. You just thought that it looked cool. But,
Yeah.
some of them, I love the Clockwork Orange poster. That's
Yes.
well, the one that was in the UK. But I also find it extremely unsettling. So I couldn't have it in eye shot of where it was because it would just be. But I
Scary.
mean, it's the whole point. That's what the film is about, the
Yeah.
line from it and everything as well. Yeah, they were kind of social currency in a way, weren't they? When we were younger and at college, it would be the music that you listened to, or the films that you saw, or it was the books that you kind of had, lying around, kind of, just kind of signaling a little bit about you. Yeah, our social engagement was much more analog, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Very
Wasn't it?
much. I
Yeah.
remember carrying like huge computers and then a hi-fi system with two separate speakers and then a television that was from the 70s that had a handle on the top and you had to
Yeah.
bash it now and again because it would go "ee," and it
Yeah.
go and it had three dialed
Yeah.
channels. This is
Yeah.
how old I am.
These are the posters that
What would
yeah.
you put up now? Because I think, gosh, I'd probably put a Wes Anderson one up, but maybe
Yeah.
Buffalo 66 if I was going to be, if I
Yeah.
wanted to look cool.
Yeah, no, maybe. Yeah, maybe you would do that. Well, I mean, I have got, like I said, I have got like the man in the white suit, but that's only like a little postcard. The I love some of the old spaghetti western posters as well.
Yes.
They also, because the illustration style that they
Mm.
had was, kind of was great. I mean, not unlike I mean, Saul Bass, hands down. If I ever stumbled across something by him in a car boot sale or kind of rummaging through somewhere, that would definitely go up. And it's because, they're like, yeah, but they are pieces of art. They
Mm.
are pieces of art. I think that's what separates them. They're not a just a communication poster, are they? They're aesthetically so well considered as well. I suppose even down to the amount of additional information that had to go on the posters as well
It's an
was
art
far
form.
less then,
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
thinking of it from a point of view. I want to look cultured and worldly, and you're thinking what
yeah,
from a graphic design point of view and an illustration point of view.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
what
What's
looks
gonna
what is
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, but it's just good. By the way, if anybody hasn't seen this amazing book, it's kind of like a beautiful kind of the I have it for all kinds of reasons, but like Vertigo, like why would you not want to have that kind
Yeah,
of
classic.
kind of up on your wall? But I think Trainspotting, I'm pretty sure I had Trainspotting up there as well, also because it was so different at that time
Mm.
as well. It was kind of like a real step forward in graphic design. I think the way that was done, even though if you think about it, it kind of lent into the graphics of tickets and trains and transport and the orange and the high vis, the black and white photographs of them all. But it was just so fresh and crisp. I mean, it kind of maybe had a little bit kind of, I don't know, did it steal a bit from even the idea of Pete Saville factory records, the hash lines, and it was different, wasn't it? It was just kind of
It was
like it
amazing.
just really stood out, and the whole campaign around that,
I
even though
know.
it was about the people in it, they were established actors, so it was the attitude of it that you were kind of like, look, if you think about actually Reservoir Dogs or as well, that's also that you can see it in your head that all of the figures walking together, very silhouetted, that stark
It's
background.
iconic.
Yeah.
And I remember with the Trainspotting, they had an amazing campaign surrounding it where with the poster, you could choose your favourite character on your poster.
Yeah.
And obviously I
Yeah.
had Ewan
Yeah. Yeah.
because we
No, yeah,
all
brilliantly
loved
done.
him.
But I think I wonder if that was also just something to do with Danny Boyle as well, and also his overall aesthetic and kind of understanding the from a director's perspective. Also the choices of music in that whole film.
Oh my
I
goodness.
think feels like a much more, I've really never really thought about that, but also the kind of the overall graphic style of a movie and how that is maybe easier to, because Hitchcock was very graphic as well, the way he lit, the way he did, it kind of, you could understand how it really lent into then a lot of the way the imagery was. It was often quite silhouetted, but then that's because he used a lot of dark and light photography in his filming, wasn't it? It was like
Yeah.
he would appear as a silhouette or as a something quite often in the films. Might have to start looking at things with a different eye now to see if there's a bit more of a connection. But yeah, but I mean, fundamentally, it's that I think a poster is a promise of enjoyment and escape into something, isn't it? And you don't want all, and part of that is like unwrapping a gift. You don't want to know what the gift is until you get inside it, because the anticipation of it is part of the enjoyment. So it shouldn't be telling you everything. It should just be alluding enough in order that the anticipation is kind of there. And then that's what the movie titles themselves do, don't they? The movie titles really add to that feeling and that kind of that moment before, when they're treated well, when they're really treated as as part of the overall story.
It's like it's incredible, and I can't. I think asking the question, "Does it still matter? Do posters still matter?" is kind of redundant because I did a podcast with this lovely chap called Kenny Gravelis, who is Spike Lee's go-to poster designer
Yeah,
in
yeah,
America.
yeah,
Lovely
yeah,
lad from East London, very
yeah,
very talented. And he
yeah,
said the power of posters is amazing because when he did the work for Inglorious Bastards, he did all the
yeah,
different bastards and
yeah,
then Christoph Waltz went to the premiere and he was like saying to Tarantino, or was speaking to a friend or something, and he said, "Why aren't I on a poster?" And then
yeah,
he was like, "No, no, because you're not a bastard."
yeah,
So he
yeah.
was like really worried that he'd been written out of the role.
He might not actually be in the, yeah, he could be
Yeah.
cut from it.
Yeah, so they're still powerful because I suppose it's not just about us teenagers putting posters up on our walls, which I hope still happens. I mean, do you remember going to those amazing shops? Myself in Manchester and just rifling through the posters until you found the
Yeah,
thing that spoke to you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
or
Affleck's
just, it
Palace.
used to be just, I mean, I used to just rip things out of magazines as well. I think,
Yeah.
often bits of advertising that I loved, because that also used to be so. And if you think about it, the photographers who were shooting, fashion ads and kind of like cigarette ads as well were, really high-end, amazing photographers. They weren't just about for commercials. They shot for other things. So, whether it would be Benson and Hedges or Silk Cut or kind of, that they in themselves were like, they're an ad, but they were designed like posters. They had that kind of, again, that same kind of level of thought and cleverness
Yeah.
um, about them, that they could, kind of boil it all down to just a few simple things that you wanted to have.
Is this what inspired you to pursue a career in creativity?
Yeah, I think we're definitely. I mean, I think that it was a language that I understood. I was diagnosed dyslexic quite late at school. I always struggled at school. It wasn't my thing.
Right.
So I used to spend a lot of my time just in the art block. And I think that being creative, making things and appreciating things just I think I felt safe in that space. I felt like I got it,
Yeah.
and sometimes you wouldn't know quite why you really enjoyed these photographs, that you then understand are by, kind of Ansel Adams of something, like later on you'll be walking around the gallery and you see these as an adult and you kind of go, oh my God, that's why that was, so compelling, or this is why that was kind of, so I think definitely a desire to make and to get, and a way of communicating as well, isn't it? It's your way of like, making Christmas cards or birthday cards or things for people, or wrapping things as nicely as you can. And, and it's all about kind of, I don't know, it's communicating love for people, isn't it? And kind of, yeah. And I think that's the posters are just are just saying, come and love this, come and enjoy this, come and be scared, come and be enthralled, come and be thrilled and made tense. You know, they're all just kind of trying to tell you something and really appeal on a basic emotional level, aren't they? Kind of,
Yeah.
and sometimes you don't know. I think it is, you know, I think they can have really visceral responses, like the Jaws poster, you know, that you see the shark, but it's almost like then you see the little person in the water above them,
Yes.
you know, the response to that. So,
Oh, it's so clever.
yeah, I think a desire, yeah, maybe I just had an inherent desire to communicate visually.
So when you're designing a poster, Claire, where do you start? Is it the narrative, the mood, the aesthetic, all of the above?
Yeah, the story, like so much in design, has that. So you've got to understand, so you've got to watch the film, haven't you? You've got to see it, you've got to experience it, you've got to watch it maybe multiple times. Talk about it,
Yeah.
talk about, you know, and you know, hear what the directors. I mean, we're so lucky here with Chase Films that with Mark Gill, we can ask him directly. So, you know, in doing this film, you know, about Fukasi and his work as a photographer, what was it that you were after? What was he trying to get? So you've got your interpretation of what you viewed, but then actually to hear firsthand, and the same with the Voormann problem, and that you can, you know, and you might not always get access to that. You know, I'm sure when people have great relate, you know, if it's with, you know, Art Sims and Spike Lee, whoever it might be, I'm sure they have that nice collaboration. So yeah, start with the story first, and then kind of think, how best can I communicate this? And then lots of workings out. You definitely pay attention to the overall atmosphere and feeling of a film. So the, you know, the color palette that the director has chosen and why they've picked it to be that way, so that you're kind of creating something that has that same feeling.
Yeah.
Often it's nice also to think about the line as well, you know, the lines that we become so synonymous with a film.
Yes.
You know, that not that you always get to do them, but you can also have a working one for yourself, you know,
Yeah. Do you have
that
a
you
favorite line in a movie like that stands out to you?
oh God, well, what was the one for now? I can't think of the one for Jaws. It's well, I mean, there's classically Alien, you know, no one can hear you scream in space.
Yeah.
You know, which is just like, you know, actually,
So
Alien
good.
is very cool as well. It's interesting as well. I wonder whether these things are gendered in any way as well, and who likes to have what in their room. But I was always a scaredy cat. I'm scared of the dark as a kid, so I definitely wouldn't be in Jaws or
I'm
Alien.
still scared now. If I watch a horror movie, I still do a running jump onto the bed and then sort of don't have anything hanging
Yeah,
out. I'm
absolutely.
47 this month. I'm like, no, took everything in.
It took everything in. There could be something under the bed. No, absolutely.
Like it's, oh no, we can't attack Katie. She's got her legs tucked in. Can you imagine? I like all sorts of films, but I wrote a blog post today about where I'm at myself, and it just stands out is when Harry Met Sally, when he goes, when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible.
As soon
And
as
it's just
possible. Yeah.
beautiful. Like I don't even know what the movie poster is for that film, but I love that film.
Yeah, I
Um,
think, well, I mean, you know, because so often it's a different poster per market as well, depending on, you know,
right.
it's always the same one or their adaptations of, you know, and then often the ones that become iconic might be the ones that have maybe had a little bit more freedom and a little space around it. I'm sure it was Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan on the front cover. For some reason, I
Oh, I
see
know what it is.
Washington
Yes.
Square
It
Park, the
it's
arch.
yes, it's when she's in that fabulous outfit and it's
Yeah.
autumn and they're just sort of chatting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's kind of got reminiscence of the poster for Annie Hall with Woody Allen's
Yeah, well,
film.
Annie Hall also is really kind of, you know, but it's
Love that
also,
film.
Annie Hall was it Manhattan? Am I thinking?
Manhattan is classic. That's the one with the
There was
amazing
the
Manhattan
bridge, the
Bridge.
silhouettes, and then also Manhattan written with the skyline
Yes.
within the type as well.
So
Yeah,
good. So
yeah,
good.
I've
That's
seen
a
that.
brilliant opening to a film, Manhattan. It's a
Yeah,
great film, that is. Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I can only watch it every now and again. I can't. Is there a film that you always go back to and you think, yeah, that's like a really nice comfort blanket, and you can watch it
Oh, yeah,
again
oh,
and
yeah,
again?
100%. The Goonies, if that's ever on.
Yes. Oh,
Goonies, I
80s
can't
movie
go past
posters
that.
were the best.
Oh no, the Goonies, just like, yeah, such an amazing film. But I love It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes.
I have a tradition of going to see that on Christmas Eve with my
Oh,
sister and her kids, because our local cinema, the Roxy, shout out the Roxy in Ulverston, screens it every Christmas Eve and gives out free mince pies. And it's a
oh.
really old cinema, and so it's always packed. And yeah, that's yeah.
Do you
But I think
cry?
it's
Do you
like
cry?
asking,
Come on, Claire. Do you cry at the end of that every single
oh,
time? I do.
yeah, cry every single time.
Oh,
Cry every
God.
single time. But it's
But
also
what's
that.
the bit? Hang on. No, no, no. You're not getting away with this. What's the bit that always sets you off? I love to ask this question to people.
Oh, do you know what
Spoiler.
the bit that really starts me off is when the pharmacist slaps him around the head.
Yeah.
That's the bit that really starts me, because he's a little boy, and you kind of, this series of events in his life that, so when he becomes deaf, and so that's or he gets the ear infection, and he's doing it because he realizes the pharmacist is drunk and he's mixed up the pills, and it's just that kind of feeling of that he's being misunderstood, which is really the whole arc of the film as well, isn't it? He doesn't understand how much people love him, and da, da, da.
He
But
doesn't,
anyway,
and that's what sets me off. It's when his George's brother Harry Bailey comes
yeah,
back, and
yeah, yeah,
everybody's around the Christmas tree, and it's
yeah,
joyous, and he
yeah,
goes, "A toast to my big brother George, the
yeah, yeah,
richest
yeah,
man in town," and that's it.
yeah.
I'm gone.
Yeah, you're
I'm
gone.
gone. I'm just a mess.
Yeah. But
I
it's also,
love it.
it's like that whole, what's your top 10 songs, what's your top 10 songs? It changes all the time depending on how you're feeling on I used to love watching old black and white movies, because they were just, when we had three channels, when we were growing up, you didn't have all the streaming, and quite often on a Sunday, BBC Two would show all these old Ealing comedies like St. Trinian's and The Man in the White Suit and the Lavender Hill Mob and all of these type. So that also, I love all the graphic titles in those as well. They're like so clever. But then, I love films like Delicatessen, like really amazing. The cook, the thief, his wife, and her lover. But a load of Peter Greenaway films I love. Again, I think they're kind of quite graphic, but I can't. I have to be in the right mood to watch
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes they can just be like a little bit challenging. But love Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
Oh, yes. Angela Lansbury.
Angela Lansbury is such a substitutionary locomotion. I mean,
So
it's
good.
just such a good. Yeah, I don't know why they never well, actually, you can't maybe remake a classic, but like the use of animation and the kind of the song, all the songs in that are brilliant. The kind
Oh,
of
joyous.
it's got magic in it, and yeah, it's even the book, even like the book that he reads talking about design, the kids' book that he's reading, the fact that it's one of those that's printed on fabric as well, the way he flips the pages,
It's
and then
beautiful.
get to the island and the boom boom. So
Oh,
if none of you have seen that, or Rear Window, see somebody said, yeah, also Rear Window, so such an
and
amazing.
Waterloo Bridge. Have you seen Waterloo Bridge?
Oh no, I haven't seen that one. Don't.
That's with Vivian Lee and what do you call him? Oh, he was a hunk. I've got to look this up.
Is that the one where she gets knocked over and they're meant to meet on the no?
No, no, I can't. It's when they meet in the war. She's a ballet dancer, and
Oh no.
it's very innocent. And Robert Taylor, that's who it is.
Robert Taylor. Oh
Oh
yeah,
my goodness me, he
yeah,
was gorgeous. Anyway,
yeah,
they just get together. It's
yeah,
a war film. It's
yeah,
very old, and she then
yeah.
goes off and he goes off to war, and she has to sell her body on the streets, and then they
Oh
meet, and
no.
because she's done something so awful, she can't bring herself to go back with Robert Taylor when he returns because she sold her body,
Oh dear.
and then it's awful, and then I can't tell you what happens, but oh,
Oh
poor Robert
no. I mean,
Taylor.
I do love a good cry at a movie, but I
Oh
think
yeah,
kind of my dad, so love him dearly. He was in the Royal Marines, And so obviously sort of active duty and everything, and like, but for all the fact that he was in the Royal Marines, and everybody I ever dated, I think, was terrified to come to the house. He's just a big softie, and before any movie starts, he'll say, "Does anybody die in this?" And I don't want to watch it. And so he won't watch. He'll choose not. He'll choose not to watch the film. He only likes. So I think that's maybe why he's very happy watching The Goonies. He's very happy watching Ben Dobson Broomsticks, and like kind of. And of course, all the Indiana Jones films. When Raiders of the Lost Ark first came out, also great poster, amazing type, lovely graphics through it whenever he's flying in the plane and it gets mapped out, and there's lots of nice
love that.
incidental pieces all the way through there.
Did you used to make treasure maps when you were a kid and then dip them in tea?
Did I used to make treasure maps? I used to make treasure maps for my brother, and I would hide them in books so that he would find them, and then go out and find and I would have buried little things of treasure for him in the nearby fields so that he would go out and he'd go out and find them. I used to get very carried away with
burn the edges of the paper,
singe all the edges, roll it all up,
fold it and multiple times until it looked ancient.
Oh, yeah, MASH, also amazing film, great poster, really great poster, actually. And I'm sure inspired the Scissor Sisters with their logo as well. And To Kill a Mockingbird, some of the most beautiful opening sequences, movie titles. I love that, where it's just her singing and she's lifting all of her little trinkets out of the box and placing them at the side one by one. And yeah, really, yeah. And the original Parent Trap with Hayley Mills. Although I do like Guardians of the Galaxy. I think,
yes.
but yeah, I think this is my list for the weekend of things.
I love it. I'm going to have a weekend of just watching things.
Yeah.
Do you know Guardians of the Galaxy was written by a woman? I'm sure. Or was it directed by? No. Oh, Nicole Perlman and James Gunn. Yeah.
Okay.
It's why it's so damn funny. So, because I don't know about you, I find Marvel films and I'm going to get really told off.
Don't do it. Don't put yourself out there.
I find them so boring, Claire. I just can't.
Over the multiverse.
Yeah, I just find them really dull. So when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, I thought, this is a breath of fresh air. This is good fun.
Yeah, no, completely. I love that. I love it.
I'm going to get trolled now. Going to have everybody after me.
What about James Bond film posters? Depends what era you're looking at on the.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the really, like the Sean Connery stuff. Again, they were often quite graphic, and just like a few colorways as well. The way that they were done.
There were lots of silhouettes of women, weren't there?
Yeah. Before you kind of got into the kind of the more overly produced. When actually, I think when Bond maybe had a bit more of an edge, maybe like. Before it went into the whole Roger Moore era of things.
Woman.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, it's amazing actually when you think of the movie posters over the decades, just how you can see some things remain classic and some things really do show the shift in culture. And what's acceptable.
So how much we lean on the past as well, because you can see, kind of sometimes it's because it's a direct prestige. So like Pulp Fiction obviously looked like a Pulp Fiction novel, the way that it was done. But it was like, because everything was done in that way, it wasn't, it was more of an homage than a pastiche, it kind of, but when it's all the rom-com posters that you see nowadays where it's girl leans on boy, it's just like, it's just the same kind of like Matthew McConaughey leaning against somebody else before he kind of reinvented himself again, or it was, and there is no reason why those also couldn't have equally as smart kind of. Well, The Devil Wears Prada, actually, that was an amazing, wasn't it? Because it was like a Louboutin that was the heel was a little devil tail. So classic. Like that kind of just kind of says it all, doesn't it?
It's nice to know that even now, after everything, you'd feel like everything's been done. People are still finding, original ways to. Because you've spoken a lot about resisting the template and trying to sort of keep your work original when the industry is clearly pushing for a lot of the same. They want to play it safe. How do you resist that? I mean, it must be. With all this inspiration, it must be quite overwhelming. You must be able to cut through, because look at the beautiful work you've made.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is, I think, well, there's that kind of, that saying that, you should lean into a cliche, you can do that. I mean, for the Voormann problem, we did a Rorschach test. How many school projects have you done? And you've got, oh, we could do a Rorschach. But this is about a psychologist going in to speak to somebody who thinks he's God, so therefore appropriate. But it's also about transformation and not really being where you think you are. So therefore, a Rorschach that looks like a butterfly or a moth, the kind of. So it's kind of, if you can use, cliches are cliches for a reason because they're a visual shorthand to something. And if it is appropriate to get that shorthand to a space, but then to be able to use it in a way that is really kind of then taking it to that next level, then you should be, you absolutely should be doing it, because that's the whole thing, is that you're trying to play on people's borrowed memory structures, aren't you? You're trying to kind of get them into a space to go, oh, oh no, that's what that's about. And it's when it's just done in a lazy way, and it just feels like a copy of something. But yeah, I'm all for the, start where people's heads are, but then maybe just take it kind of a little bit further. Because it is all about that, isn't it? It's all about the finessing, and then the kind of like, what else could we do to this to make it really kind of shine? So yeah, it's kind of, borrow cliches with pride, just use them in the right way.
Yeah, I love it. Can you indulge me a second? I've got something to show you.
Oh yeah.
What do you think of this? Can you see it all? Isn't it fab?
You could be in Guardians of the Galaxy in
Well,
that,
this is
couldn't
the
you?
thing. I worked with a brilliant illustrator called Sam Gilby, and that's my co-host for excuse me, a co-host with my other podcast that I do as a sort of nice little side project, because Creative Boom was the side project, and now I needed another side project, and this is called The Films That Ruined Us.
Ah,
So we talk about the movies that we love and why we're
yeah.
obsessed with them and all the rest of it. So well, if you're going to have a podcast about movies, you've got to have a movie poster. How cool is that?
Yeah. So what's a good? So are you going to have some type on there for
Oh yeah,
the?
it's all
Was it?
done. It's
Uh,
ruinedbyfilms.com. Go and
yeah,
check it out. I'd love some feedback. You can tell
yeah,
us where we've gone really right and really wrong. But Sam was brilliant. He led us through the whole graphic
yeah,
design, the because it's not just about graphic design, is it? It's the
yeah,
illustrators that are in
yeah,
this
yeah,
industry
yeah,
who just create the
yeah,
most insane. I mean, look at that.
yeah.
I've
I
got a
know.
bionic eye.
I know. I love that bionic eye. Didn't it was Steve Austin had the bionic eye, didn't he?
I
In
think,
the so you were a bit $1 million woman. Actually,
yeah,
you
I
have
think there's definitely a few kind of different genres all mixed up in there, and it's just such a beautiful thing to make. The
yeah.
process that you go through. I'm very jealous of your career, Claire. It
And
must just be
I've
so
been
fun.
exceptionally, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, this is a great career to be in, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Design, like, you get to learn something about all kinds of different things, which it doesn't feel like you're being taught, but you're discovering along the way. You meet people who are top of their game in the things that they're doing, who you're working alongside to kind of then bring things to life. I mean, it's kind of, yeah, and you continually then are producing things, or and as I get move on in my career, it is about also just seeing other people around you do that and blossom and kind of move forward and know that you've been able to contribute to that in some way. But
yeah,
often that more just like, for yourself more than anything else. So you think, oh, that was it was better than or I've seen this happen, I know that I contributed there on that thing. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's not rocket science what we do, is it? But you've got to engage your brain. You've got to kind of you've got to be interested in people and interested in things and engaged with stuff, because you never know where the next idea is going to come from. And I'm going to go back through all of these questions with all of the
yes.
recommendations.
We're going to start going through them in a second. But I've just got one
Yeah,
more question. What advice
yeah.
would you give to designers who want to work in film but fear there's no room for original work left, or is that just a
Oh goodness, that's a tricky one, isn't it? There's, I mean, Yeah, if you want to work in film, if you want to work in set, because there's roles within film for set design, aren't there? For they're doing all of the things in and around, and the kind of and with amazing people in there as well,
Yeah.
but also within theatre as well. If you think about kind of theatre design, kind of stage and set, and these are all areas that I didn't even consider when I was starting out, to do design. I didn't really know where design or enjoying art could take you. And I think had I been exposed to theatre when I was younger, or kind of like just didn't come from that kind of background, or from like more film, and then maybe you'd see, oh, there are avenues for that. There are places, and also everybody can be a bit of a maker now. There's no reason why you can't just pick the films that you love and go, I'm going to design some posters for these. That's what we did at Christmas here. We just did a whole series of posters for our favorite Christmas movies. Had a big
Oh,
debate about whether they were a Christmas movie or not, and then made this series. And we just printed them all. We screen printed them all because they were silver screen. And so it was just our version of all the movies that we love. It's actually on the Chase website if you want to have a look.
oh, brilliant.
So it was just, just because we wanted to do kind of like, what does everybody do at Christmas, or what the movies that you're going to watch, what you're going to look at, what are the lines from those movies. And it was such a lovely thing to do, actually, because then when everybody was sharing sketches and we just had it all up on the wall, just from a little sketch, people would kind of go, oh my God, Home Alone. Like you just get it straight away. And so
What was yours? What was yours?
it was what was my favorite
Your
film?
Christmas film?
The My Christmas film. I had multiples in there as well, but we did have It's a Wonderful Life, but also Elf.
Oh, yes.
But then we had a big debate about Die Hard and whether that was a Christmas movie or
It is
not.
a
Or
Chris.
the
It absolutely is a Christmas movie.
but the poster for that one was particularly lovely because it's just three bullet holes, but they look like snowflakes.
Right.
um, which
Very
was
clever.
which was just it just looked, because it was all done in silver on black, they just kind of came out so nicely. So yeah, my advice would be, what have don't just want to do something, make a plan towards how you do it, how you get there. So investigate, I want to work in film, from a design perspective, what roles are open to me, what could I do, what are the agencies or design companies that do a lot in film as well. Approach them to see if they do internships, but also for yourself, just make stuff as
Yeah.
well,
If you want to work in the movies, make some work that's
but yeah,
suitable for the industry.
yeah, yeah.
100%. Right. Thank you so much. So we're going to move on to our Q&A, and we're just going to go through these questions bit by bit. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed chatting with you about that. Yaz, lovely Yaz, who is going to be the next massive big thing to come out of Manchester. If she isn't already, I'm not surprised. What film poster that's around now do you think would still be as iconic and recognisable 10, 20, 30 years down the line?
God, what film poster that's out at the moment? That's a really tough one because I can't. Nothing jumps to mind straight away that I've seen this week. I think one of the ones that I loved the most in recent issues was Parasite.
Yes.
That was kind of, because they actually did a few different posters, and one of them was illustration, and it was very much almost like a contemporary version of Escher, of like all the floors and getting kind of this idea of hidden space. And then the one that was done in Korea was also, but it was more of a photographic version of that, of some people coming up and some people coming down a staircase. I think that was
Yeah, I'm just looking at a few of them now. Oh, it's so clever. So clever. There's a nice site called alternativemovieposters.com. It's worth checking out. And you can see people's sort of takes on different films. It's really inspiring to follow. I'll share that in the chat now. Okay, thanks, Yaz. I hope that answered your question. Poster, The Godfather, says Mita.
Yeah,
Question
great.
mark.
See that in my head, black, white type, the kind of the idea. Yeah, that is a great,
You always
yeah,
do impressions, put Maltesers in your cheeks and go,
in your cheeks, and it all very silhouetted, isn't it? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You know, I've still not seen that movie.
But it's Godfather 2 that is the
Oh,
classic,
is
isn't
it?
it? I think
Okay.
apparently people say.
Okay, Michaela says good film posters started ending when modern film titles started to come up, thinking Kyle Cooper. Now, even good film titles are ending. Is there still room for good design in the film industry? Which is what we were saying. Is it the
Yeah.
fault of marketing people? Goddamn marketing people. Or the need for imagination and storytelling have changed?
Yeah. Well, I think first of all, yeah, I suppose I shouldn't have just kind of like dissed it all on the marketeers. I think it's
They're a
about the
pain, Claire.
yeah, it's the cost of making movies, isn't it? If everything costs that amount of money, they should make more movies with less money. So rather than doing these millions and millions of dollar movies, they should do like, $100,000 movie and do more of those. And then the pressure would be lower on doing it. And I think that's why when you see real innovation, it's often within smaller art house things, or like with directors like Wes Anderson or so that who are owning everything themselves, or Spike Jones as well with her, where they just or Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind again, like
Yes. Little
Delicatessen,
Miss Sunshine.
yeah, Little Miss Sunshine, amazing movie poster, Little Miss Sunshine, the VW on that bright yellow
I'm gonna
background.
get it. We were talking
Yeah,
about camping, weren't we, before we started
yeah,
this
yeah.
webinar? I'm gonna buy. You've inspired. I'm gonna buy that thing.
Yeah, it's great. It's a
I'm gonna
really
put it
like,
up.
it is funny, isn't it, that you kind of like, as soon as you say the film, you can see in your mind's
See
eye
it.
that core image for it as
It's a
well. So I think
beautiful
it does
film.
speak to how kind of engaging they are. But I do swear that the best, I can't, actually, no, I can't. I think I saw something quite a few years ago now. It was a thriller. I can't remember whether it was about somebody like terrorism in a city, but it started out with an elevator going down. And it's like from the perspective of you being in the elevator. I can't remember the name of the film. It's quite old now. Maybe it must be like 20 years old. But the way that the type was coming in made you feel like you were going down and down and really built to that. And I remember kind of thinking, "God, this is so well thought through." I thought, I wonder how many other people in the cinema are thinking about the typography and how they've done it to do that. And afterwards, I then went and investigated. And it was when Saul Bass had done the type for this film, because he was still designing for movies then. And I think, God, yeah, it doesn't have to be really kind of over elaborate, and like, it's just the consideration with which things appear and how they start to make you feel. But they should be kind of, I hate the whole, well, I don't hate, do I hate it? A little bit now when the titles come in partway through the beginning of a movie, like you kind of, the film has started and you're starting to get into it and then they disrupt it and they do a title sequence and then they kind of come back out. That seems to be a little bit of a trend
Yeah.
at the moment, but yeah.
And
Um,
you've now got all these TV shows on Apple TV
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
Netflix that have the
yeah,
little mini series of movies
yeah,
and their own,
yeah,
like
yeah,
Severance.
yeah, yeah. I know, but also
Amazing.
they are so filmic though. I mean, I think a lot of the production, values that like TV has become the thing, isn't it? It's kind of like they're now become episodic movies in a way, the way that they're done. But to that case in point, like the titles, but even like the titles for you think about Mad Men or Severance, or
Yes.
all of those, like even the kind of, I know it's kind of been a little bit of a, like if you think Game of Thrones or Shogun that just was, I don't like to fast forward through them because it really sets you in the mood for the
Yeah.
thing that you're about to see, doesn't it? It kind of, like The Last of Us, it freaks me out, the title sequence for that before every episode, but I have to watch it because it gets the tension levels
Gets
ready.
you in there. Have you played the video game?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't need a recap of what's happened. What I need to do is have the titles because the titles really lend themselves to and like TV titles in the UK, you don't get so many really because they cost a lot of money to do for TV
Yes.
shows as well.
I
So
remember
when they
Killing
are
Eve. Killing Eve was quite clever.
Killing Eve, I was about to say
Yeah.
Killing Eve was great.
Yeah.
Also, Dr. Foster was also they were really beautiful as
Right.
well. It was very photographic. It was like lots of um personal items looking like they were going through almost like a through liquid scanning across as if they were almost going like an X-ray because it's Dr. Foster,
Nice.
Foster and water. I don't know, things being exposed. I just remember them being really striking and they stood out to me because, again, like Killing Eve as well, you often on TV production, you don't get as much to spend on the titles of things, so they can often kind of either be super simple or kind of start to feel a bit game showy or something.
Yeah, it's a
We're off on
shame.
a long tangent
It's
there.
such an important part of any movie or TV
Mm,
series. Like,
yeah,
why is it
yeah,
sometimes treated like a sort of afterthought? Oh, we've run out of
yeah,
budget and
mm,
oh, missing a
yeah.
trick. So Jonathan asks, while traditional printed film posters will likely remain as a nostalgic and artistic form, how might emerging technologies like AI generated visuals, motion
Yeah.
graphics, 3D printing, and augmented reality redefine the future of poster design and audience engagement? Wow.
Oh, yeah, I mean, brilliant, like the fact that you could like step into the opening scene of a movie or something, you know,
And probably be the
just
star.
yeah, be the or just kind of like, or just be on the edge of the thing. I mean, I think like augmented reality, AI, well, we've already seen like make yourself into a Pixar movie, make yourself into all of these things kind of like, I think that, the being tested into the first bit of a film, or the opening scene or doing, depending again what the story was or what, to kind of have a feeling that you can kind of, enter something that's about to occur so that you really feel that you're not just watching it, but you're kind of like on the edges of fun. A bit like live theatre, when you do like you go to theatre productions and you do the walk around or it's in the round, and to have a feeling that that's what it is like to be in a movie, or kind of like walk. I suppose it could end up being a little bit like gaming. So it's like first person view.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
I
think
don't know
the
what's
first
coming.
people that start, I mean, it's coming, isn't it? It's kind of,
Mm.
the first people that do things that are appropriate around it. I mean, it's like filmmaking as a whole. I think it's going to go through a massive revolution because, films get filmed on iPhones now. I mean,
Mm.
with the big rig and all kinds of extra lenses kind of on there. But, it does make it way more accessible to everybody as well.
Yeah. AI
Yeah.
generated visuals, I'm not so sure about. They're still playing that out in the courts. And as I was chatting in my podcast with Kenny Gravelis, he said every single aspect that they put into a movie poster has to get signed off. It has to have something labeled next to it to say this is where it came from.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I mean, absolutely, because it's just, it's intellectual copyright, isn't it? If you're taking from, I think it is a great tool, but it is a tool,
it's a tool.
so you've got to use it in the right, and it has to be used in skilled hands. You can put me in a Formula One car, but I'm not going to drive like Lewis Hamilton, am I?
No,
I'm
depends who's
probably
chasing you.
yeah, probably just going to crash. And I think that's the same with everything, all the AI tools that are out there. We're at a real discovery phase of things, and therefore, having, taste and empathy and understanding and kind of, and real critical thinking to kind of go, actually, is this better than I would do, or is this in the right, have I asked this the right things to get to where I need to be, or is it just a shortcut? I worry that it's going to make us lazy around stuff, and that's the one thing that this career is. It's hard work. It's fun, but it's hard work. You've got to put in the hard yard. So if it's saving you time somewhere, what are you doing with the rest of that time? How are you using that to kind of get better at the thing that you're doing, or discover more about the world that you're in order that you can put that back into the stuff that you're doing?
Great. Right. We've got one more question from Colin. You mentioned classic film posters from the golden age of cinema, a time when going to the movies was a major part of family entertainment. Do you think the rise of streaming, with people now watching films from the comfort of their own homes, their own sofas, has changed the role or impact of poster design today?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, yeah, I mean, because now you have I think things still want theatrical release, and I know there's still like big debate about the time between it being released theatrically before it can go onto streaming. So your awareness around it is still being driven by those key visuals, but you might come across those key visuals in your social feeds and not actually as a poster somewhere else. So I still think it's kind of the shorthand to get your attention to talk about the movie. But I still think that you can't be being around a whole bunch of other people enjoying something at the same time, because it's that collective experience of the laugh or the shock or the whatever, that it's kind of that communal experience is like, it's just not the same when you're kind of multi-screening, you know.
Aren't we going back to the cinema now as well?
Yeah, you know, and you know, I think it's yeah. But I remember like, don't have your phone on in the cinema, you know, kind of like all of those. But I think it's like anything, enjoying things, having an experience that you can come away from and chat to people about. It's great sitting on the sofa and watching with your family and enjoying it all together, is it? But there's also, I think, there's times to actually go and experience it in that kind of space with all the other people. Like it's, you know, they're movie theaters, aren't they? It's a theater of
Yeah.
something. I think there's something about collective experiences, whether that's going to a concert, going to, you know, see your favorite musician perform, or going to you know, that it's like, I don't know, I think it bonds you. I think that's also what makes things classics as well.
Yeah. It's magical. It's magical. I love the cinema. Or the flicks, as my
The
dad still
flicks
calls them. The
or the
flicks.
pictures.
The
So there was
pictures.
the pictures. You go to
Yeah.
the pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the young people watching this will have no idea what we're talking about.
You go to the
um,
pictures.
yeah. So we've finished all the questions. Thanks for those, everyone. That's great. And thank you, Claire. You've now got the task of choosing a winner. Can you click on the answered questions in the Q&A?
Oh,
The
dear me.
talkies, someone's saying. Are you talking about the talkies?
Yeah, the talkies. No. Hey, come on. I wasn't around when silent movies first came up. So in the Q&A, how do I know which ones have been answered?
There should be an open, answered. So there's a top tab. Can you see them?
Yeah. Hang on.
So you
Webinar,
had.
no.
Have you got them?
Yeah. Webinar chat. 26 new messages.
So no, it was in the Q&A at the bottom. So there's like a little button at the bottom.
Oh, got it.
You got it. You got it.
Yeah, answered.
Should have
So
gone through that
top
at the start.
5, film posts.
This is to win a book
It's great.
by the Chase.
Do you know what? I really like the question about from Michaela, also about the trailers and stuff as well, about movie trailers, about film titles also.
You want? Is that going to be your winner?
Yes,
Michaela Bruno, well done.
yeah.
You're the winner of a beautiful book by the Chase. Do you want to just show it again? Just one last time.
Yes, here it is.
Here's the prize.
There you
Fabulous.
go. The wood that
Absolutely
doesn't look like an elephant. And oh, there you go.
gorgeous.
This will be making its way to you by snail mail, very slowly.
Snail mail. Yeah, it's going to be carried by that mammoth, that woolly mammoth.
Yeah. Yes.
You'll get a knock on the door and it'll be a trunk.
Well, thank you very much for the chat. I really enjoyed it.
It was fabulous.
Get back into things now.
Good
And
luck.
thank you everybody for joining. I hope you've also inspired me to go off and watch some good documentary recommendations and things.
Same. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for all coming, everyone. We will see you at the next studio session, which will be in a couple of weeks' time with the lovely Livy Moore on starting from a blank page. So we will see you then. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Bye, Claire. Thank you.
Bye. See you
I'll see you soon. I'll catch up with you another time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.